Ni hao ma, how are you, Bai Ling? And I'm back. And this is not going to be a very long video. I'm going to do a little bit of gluing to a new piece, but I want to show you what I have. There's our middleweight champion, and there's you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a logo here. I didn't do that before, but I'm going to add a logo. So I'm so far so good. The waist didn't come out the way I wanted it to. But we got the very short shorts, which is required for all ring girls. What goes on here, I have no idea, but I just, it was making the pelvic area work. But I do have the thighs, the vagina, the shorts, the waists, belly button here working, okay? But I'm going to add the body because ring girls have sort of a bathing suit or bikini top, and then short shorts, and then the rest of it I'm going to add. So it's going to be so here it is, so far. It's just like I said, it's folded paper. Here it is from the bottom. Here it is from the top. From the sides. It looks weird from the sides, but you're meant to see it from the front and just tilt it a little bit. That's what I'm trying to do. It's not easy, but here we have this little, I use this ruler for what I measure everything, but instead of the inches, I'm going to use the metric side. I'm going to make the body, your body, so your rib cage and the stuff, just short of the breasts, and it's going to be about 7 centimeters long by 2.5, which would be too big to be so it would look really big, but it's going to be kind of folded in a cylinder. So give me a moment. And so I'm going to go ahead and measure the length and width and try to get this right. Learning from the last video, I'm going to put it over 7 centimeters. Learning from the last video, I did some gluing, but it was off screen and it wasn't very exciting. But this is a new technique in which I'm trying to get this absolutely right before I do anything else. Now, when you look at 7 by 2.5 centimeters, isn't very much, but when you fold it, it's all the difference in the world. Try to make sure I don't go over the table. I know this table is going to wobble because this is not meant to be done this way, but for the purposes of showing and telling. And now what I'm going to do is add a little bit. I'm trying to think. I got to do some measuring here and make a guess. Let's see. About 3. Fucking shit. I have to drop everything on the goddamn floor. Okay. So this is just my I spy with my eye here, trying to make sure that I do this right. So, just adding the enhancements, adding the markers. I had very little marker for this because the idea would be to just let the 3D shapes, let the paper folded like origami and shit, let that do some of the shading itself by nature, and other times I can just add some colors that need to be added. I have so many colored pencils. I went to the bookstore at ELAC. I don't know why it is that door was hard to open, but yeah, they moved the bookstore to a new building right next to the library. I don't know, it's not my campus anymore, so they changed a lot of things. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this out. We're going to see how this goes. I might have to edit my frustrations in between because I may not get this right. But hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I was looking at that picture of Blair Redford from The Gifted. He does look like Eric Draven. More importantly, he looks like Brandon Lee. So that's why I was showing you the picture of it. Because Brandon Lee, well, he has a longer head, longer face, but When you look at Blair Redford, he does have the crow kind of vibe. But all actors tend to look alike after a while. It kind of reminds you of one actor 40 years ago or 30 years ago. That's how it is. Now what I have to do is kind of visually, or just kind of take a good look, because you see this has to kind of fold into itself. How I'm going to do that, I have no fucking clue. So somehow this has to glue on top of this. So I'm going to pause again. Okay, now what I'm going to do is just put the appropriate glue. I might put more than I need to because this is a tougher paper. See, the paper I showed you in the pad is not the same as the paper on here, but this one's a little bit thicker. There's some at Target that have these I think it's called Astro Bright, and they're even thicker than this one. It's all about millimeters and how thick it is by millimeters. You'll see. See what I'm doing now? I'm fingering you, but it's actually holding the glue in place. This is a lengthy process. And we wait and we wait and we wait. And I guess so far so good. This has been very, very tricky. It's like looking at a bunch of weird segments being put together, but the shading does help a little bit, and it gives you a little bit of depth. It looks like Bai Ling's belly button, her pelvis, and her stomach are going in different directions. I managed to add a little bit of the logo here, but it's kind of like, if I don't get it exactly right, I can't do too much about it. They used to have, I don't see it around, I might have kept it, but it used to be, oh wait, here we go. Yeah, it used to be that, I don't know if you can see it, and you can't see it, that they used to make these Bic, like, I think they still make them, but they're not that good. It's this whiteout, you see, but the problem, and you can make these exact white marks like a pen, because thus it's a 2-in-1 pen and correction fluid, but, and yes, they have whiteout tape, but it's like it's about a couple of centimeters, in width. So it's not very good to, write something like this, UFC. But that's what I was trying to do, but I didn't want to make a big old blobby white mess. That's not what I wanted. So it was either make a big blobby white mess or kind of sort of write the logo on the shorts, because that's what you see on the Ring Girl shorts. So, yeah, and this pen didn't work very well after a while, and that's why I didn't use it for this, because it just got plugged up there. I just, like, what the fuck? So, as reliable as it appears to be, this is not a great product. So, I'm just have to make do with it. Another alternative would probably to use a white small paintbrush, maybe. I just don't really have that many resources. I try to use whatever I can on hand. But that's it so far. I'm going to work on the breast tonight, and then the head and neck. The arms are going to actually be the last portion, since they're going to stick out the most. It's going to hold that octagon sign with the UFC logo, round 1, round 2. Well, probably round 1, because it looks better. So that's it. That's all I got so far. The pelvis area here and the waist and whatever. It's so far so good. So let's just, cross our fingers, right?